Hey everybody, come on in. This is the Daily Bern. We're going to start in just a minute. I give you just a little time to get in, like and share, because I need a little time to get in and like and share. Matter of fact, I haven't even shared it yet. Hey Jack, how you guys doing? This is the Friday episode of the Daily Bern, which we all know is the hottest burn. I tend to try the hardest on Friday. I don't know what it is about Friday. I think it's because I got 4 days of burns behind me and it's all downhill. Friday's my favorite burn. So come on in. This is the Daily Bern, the war room of the political revolution. And we gather here every day at 7 to talk about this fight. To talk about this fight that we're in. And Jack tagged. Oh, you're just saying you tagged somebody named Sean. Hey, Carol. Good to see you. Good to see some people coming in. But I'm going to tweet this out on YouTube and then we'll be ready to start talking. So a lot happened this week. A lot happened in our fight over this last week. Tulsi Gabbard showed us who she really is. She showed us that what her true colors were and where she truly stands. I don't know what her reasons were yet at this point. I think nobody does. I mean, you can speculate, but the fact remains, she showed us who she really is. This race is still going on. A lot of people are comparing it. Well, Bernie endorsed Hillary in 2016. The race was over at that point. When Bernie endorsed Hillary, it was because he had to. Tulsi didn't have to do this. She did not have to do this. She's been promised something, offered something, and it will reveal itself, her reasons for doing what she did. But she showed us that she is not truly a member of our progressive movement. That's what happened. So take it with a grain of salt. It's good sometimes when someone decides to go ahead and show you who they really are. You know? It's better than believing some kind of a lie about them, isn't it? I mean, there are people that are mad at themselves that we were fooled by her. Someone decides to go ahead. Sorry about that. You know? They're mad at themselves because they were fooled by her. I don't understand that. She was very convincing. She did all she could to convince people that she had their best interest at heart. She was going to fight for them. And she would do what was needed. But she didn't. She doesn't. And that's what she showed us. So, and Jack's right. It is sad because a lot of us did really like her. A lot of us had a lot of respect for Tulsi Gabbard. I know I did. And I'm not going to be ashamed of that. She pretended to fight for the things that I care about. She pretended to stand for the things that I care about. And she pretended to have a backbone. Steve says some people say Bernie rejected her endorsement. You know, I don't want to speculate about what Bernie may or may not be doing. You know, because especially that, to speculate on that, because if Bernie rejected her endorsement, there would be a reason why he didn't want it. Maybe he never did want it. Maybe he never thought she was part of our team. Maybe there's something Bernie knows that we don't know. I really can't say. Hey, system failure. Hey, Slace. This is the Daily Bern. We're talking about this revolution. Right now, we're talking about Tulsi Gabbard and how she dropped out and endorsed Joe Biden. Steve says, I was her biggest fan. I know you were, brother. I know you were. And I know this hurt. It hurt some more than others. Some people were really invested in Tulsi Gabbard. Some people believed in her a great deal. So it's very sad. The next thing I wanted to get into really quick, because this is also important, is where in the hell is Joe Biden? Where's Joe? It's been days, about 5 days, since we've seen Joe Biden at all. You know, in that period of time, Bernie's probably been on live 6, 7 times, had 2 virtual rallies. Where's Joe? Bernie addresses the nation pretty much every day on a pretty regular basis. Bernie's working his ass off right now. Where's Joe? This is our leader. This is the man we need to support for president. You see why we can't? You see why we never will? You see why it's impossible? Joe Biden's not a leader. Who's acting like a leader right now? In all honesty, who's acting like a leader? Bernie Sanders acting like he's the damn president of the United States. He's passionately trying to calm down society and reassure people. He's the one acting like a president. Jeannie says Joe is not well. Joe is not well. There's something dangerously wrong with Joe Biden. And I want to talk about his politics, you know. We focused a lot lately on his mental problems, and they will come to light on their own. How long can they hide him and drug him up and stimulate him to get him through debates? How long can they do that? How long can they carry on? Yeah, I saw that, Steve. Steve says Joe's wife had to pull him off the stage when his brain froze up. I saw that. He got lost, and he thanked her. He was very appreciative that someone swooped in and saved him. Joe Biden, there's something very wrong there. But that will expose itself. I want to focus on his politics. I want people to understand the real reasons why we would have never voted for Joe to begin with. Ever. It was never going to be a possibility because Joe is a fundamentally flawed candidate. We can't vote for Joe Biden. It's impossible. It goes against everything we believe in. The man's been fighting against progressive values his entire career. He was for busing. He was pro-segregationist. Worked with pro-segregationists. Is a veiled racist. There's a lot of reasons why we would never, ever, ever, ever vote for Joe Biden. But this elder abuse of them forcing this man, they have to be forcing this man to run for president. Sometimes he seems like he doesn't even know that he's running for president. Matter of fact, in a lot of speeches, he's confused what he's running for, and often is confused where he is. Joe Biden is a loser, and we need to expose it. You know, I think the people that we tend to talk to, our audience that we need to convert, is a very brainwashed and programmed people. We know that. We understand that. We need to start accepting it and altering our approach based on that knowledge. They're deeply brainwashed. And I'm going to get into that a little bit in the burn coming up. Kind of structured this differently a little bit. I wanted to hang out a little while before we actually start to burn. But Carol said, Bernie's not giving up on us, so we must not give up on him. Bernie is not quitting. Bernie is not going to quit. Bernie's going to keep pushing and act like the damn president while he's doing it. He's doing a fantastic job. And Jack's right. Jack says I would rather wipe my ass with a cactus than vote for Joe. There is no voting for Joe. Lacey says, I heard he had to have surgery on an aneurysm. That is believable. That is believable. I believe that much more than anything else that's being sold. So, I don't know, but I find it very odd that someone that's running to be president of the United States in the middle of a global pandemic is nowhere to be found for 5 straight days. I find that extremely odd. That anybody thinks he's presidential, that anybody thinks he's a leader. Look at his behavior right now, in a crucial time when his followers would probably love to hear from him, and he could easily do so. But does he? Is he? No. And you're not going to see him do it either. Because he doesn't even want to be president. He's being pushed to run out against his own will. He's being shoved out in front of cameras and microphones. And his mental status will not carry him through. Steve's right. Biden's mental condition is deteriorating fast, at a rapid pace. They can try to prop him up all they want. The best they can hope for is to get him through the primary, and Bernie's not going to quit. What they need Bernie to do is drop out and quit, and then hide Joe till November as best that they can. Keep him away from Trump as much as they can. You know? Jack says over 1,600 delegates to be had yet. Oh, it's far from over, Jack. But people are acting like Bernie should drop out. I mean, let's not ignore that. It's happening. People are in the mainstream media, which we all know is garbage, are talking for Bernie to drop out, acting like Bernie should drop out. He's not going to. There's no reason for him to. He's not that far behind enough to be talking about dropping out. He's doing well. It doesn't make any sense unless you're trying to sell a narrative that he has no chance of winning, which is what they're doing. But we must win this fight. We must. There is no next time. We need to understand that. I know you're scared. I am too. And with all that's going on, who wouldn't be? This is insanity. And for those of us who are aware and paying attention to it, it's a waking nightmare. But take it in stride. This insanity that we are witnessing is hundreds of years of old power structure dying off. These are its death throes. Let's finish it off. Keep doing all that you can. Keep fighting. Keep moving forward no matter what happens. Stay determined and resolved that this will happen because it must. And with enough of us in that same mindset, it will. So, I get that this is frightening, what is happening right now. But this is a war. And remember that all war is deception. You got to keep in mind that 90%, at least, that's being very conservative, of the information being slung at us is nothing but lies and propaganda. And the evil that lords over us deals in deception. Which brings me to something I've said before, but I think we need to hit it again. We know the world presented to the average American is a complete lie, and that they are brainwashed and indoctrinated by a system that is extremely powerful. So why are we mad at them for falling victim to a system that had each of us fooled at one time as well? I get it. These people are holding us back, but they're not our enemy. We need to save as many of them as we can and ignore the rest. We need them. Not all of them, but enough of them. The more of them that we can wake up, the closer to death this system will get. Because what's going to kill it is enough of us standing united against it. In the truth. Speaking truth to power. That's what's going to kill this off. That's what's going to make this happen. That's why it's going to happen. Because we're doing all we can. Because we're doing this. Us. This is our fight. It always has been. And our role is consistent in it. We're the media. We spread the truth. We inform people. He says they want us to quit as well. They want to break our spirit. That's the only way they can win at this point, is to break our spirit. System says, sorry bro, back now. Let's get something going soon on my channel. Well, we can, get in touch with me. And I'd be glad to. That'd be neat. I want to grow my connections on YouTube and get more into the YouTube community. So that would be good. Get in touch with me about that. Jeannie says I worked at a Jerry Psych unit and Joe Biden would qualify for admission. I'm not a doctor, but it's very clear that there's something wrong with Joe Biden. Something seriously wrong. And like Sean says, Obama was behind by 300 delegates at this time in 2008. Bernie's behind by 285. There's no reason to quit. Absolutely no reason. And when everything is there to justify that you are the better candidate and every piece of logic points to the fact that Joe Biden cannot beat Donald Trump, 285 delegates is not that far behind. There's no reason to quit. We must succeed. We will succeed. And it's going to be because we own this and we understand that. It's going to be the people that make it happen. And that's why it's going to happen. He says, stick an oak stake into the heart. We tear down this Democratic Party, this corporation that is an enemy of democracy. We destroy it. That's what we're doing anyway. We're taking it over from the inside, tearing it down and rebuilding it into something that works for the people. And we're going to bring massive reform to our election system because that's what needs to happen. Our democracy is a joke at this point. But when we take it back over, we can change it into something that is real and is built on justice and compassion instead of greed and endless war and built to protect the super rich. But we're going to have to change it because we've been bought off. We understand that. We're an oligarchy. The rich have bought off our government and changed it into one that serves them. So there's a lot of changing that needs to be done. But to do that, we're going to have to address the fact that these voting machines have got to go. There was 26% variance in exit polls in Vermont. Not Vermont, I'm sorry. I apologize. Arizona. I'm getting really mad at myself. I cannot trust my memory sometimes. In this last round of primaries, I think it was Arizona, 26% difference in the exit polls. Over 2% is evidence of fraud. 4% in a worldwide election would be evidence for the UN to intervene. Over 20%. Sean says the moderates have infiltrated our party. We are making the Dem Party what it should be. Not just the moderates, the right infiltrated them. The Democrats moved so far right that the Republicans had to lose their mind in response. You know, the Republican Party, the Democratic Party now is what the Republican Party should be. He says his paper ballot the answer. I really like paper ballot system. Like Germany has a very good example that we should strive to achieve to something similar to. But it's much more accountable. Definitely get away from these Diebold voting machines. These things can be rigged by high school students. It's been done. There's been exhibits shown of it multiple times. Jack says Oregon has paper mail-in ballots. Yeah, but they process them in a machine though still? Don't they still run them through a machine? Or are they hand counted? Sean says stay engaged and focused. Everyone show Bernie. Donate now. This is a great time to pour on your support even harder. Like I said, this is the death of a hundreds of year old power structure that has had control for a very, very long time. And there are billions of dollars at stake. They stand to lose a great deal of money by these changes happening, by us making healthcare a human right, by us informing the people of how badly we're being stolen from by these predators that are sucking society dry, taking everything so that they can live like dragons from a literal Tolkien novel, lording over huge piles of gold, more wealth than anyone could ever need, to the point where money has no meaning to them at all anymore. We all just become like pieces on a game board, and they don't care. They just have to get more and more and more, and they'll never be satisfied. They'll never self-correct. We have to defend ourselves. This is our time. We must do it now. And you cannot have a corporation representing half of the democratic system in this country. You can't have a corporation in the Republican Party. Then all you have is theater. We don't have democracy. So I'm not saying that the Democratic Party needs to be destroyed to be extreme. I'm saying it because it's a fact. And if you care about democracy, you see it. I know I'm preaching to the choir right now. Carol says we need a complete new party. I am hopeful for an independent agenda sooner than later. We do need a third party, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh parties. I want there to be a wide selection. I want a complete reform of our election system. But until we do, there's only two. Although, if the Democrats screw Bernie over, he needs to go third party, and that we need to destroy them. Our strategy needs to change from infiltrate to destroy. But he may not do that. That's the right thing to do. I will severely disagree this time. Last time I can see the reasoning. You live to fight another day. But he's 78 years old. We are out of time, and this must happen now. Joe Biden can't beat Trump. So logically, it makes absolutely no sense for him not to make the same decision that I just said or made and come to the same conclusion. Sean says, all thanks to Clinton brought us to a corporate Dem party. Bill Clinton steered the Democratic Party in the direction that they are right now. Yes, that's true. And again, these brainwashed, indoctrinated people that buy up the mainstream media, they believe a whole false narrative about Bill and Hillary Clinton. They don't understand what's really going on. Sean says only one candidate was on the stage for Democrats who was a true Democrat, and that is Bernie. Bernie's not even that far left. I'm further left than Bernie. A lot of people are further left than Bernie. Bernie's ideas are not even radical. Bernie can go on a Fox show in front of a Fox News audience and get standing ovations over all of his platform ideas. These are all very popular and wanted things because they all make sense. They just make good sense. Paying people a living wage? How else does capitalism survive if people can't afford to buy your products? How does that happen? If people can only afford essentials and rent, how do you thrive in a capitalist society? People have to have money to recirculate and recycle. It's elementary. This makes sense to little children. These are not extreme ideas. Healthcare is a human right. Right now, we would be a lot less concerned if we were in a kind of society that takes care of its people and protects the sick. But no, we're in a type of society that wants to profit off them. I was talking earlier, they think that they've developed a cure for the COVID-19, a treatment. And the drug companies are trying to stop research into it so they can profitize on the cure. Just to make money. They're not about healthcare. They're about profit. They're about their bottom line. What makes them the most money? Sean says there's no tomorrow. Now, we must all focus and fight like never before. We need to triple down. This is our last stand. And again, everything that you're seeing, all this insanity, all this craziness you're seeing, is the death throes of a hundreds-of-year-old power structure. I cannot get through that no matter how many times I try to say it. And that's the third attempt. It's frustrating me because I wrote that out and it came out of my fingers just fine, but it will not leave my mouth. And it's making me mad. Hey, Dion. Jack says if the government really cared about us, there's a warehouse full of equipment that isn't even being used to help its own people right now in military bases. Zachary says Bernie is one of a handful of actual Democrats. Man, I think I can count them all off and not run out of fingers. No, I'm exaggerating, but not much. Well, no, that's not true, because you're saying Democrats. I'm thinking progressives. Sean said, my God, everyone, what are you afraid of? Success? We, the people, own this country. It's ours. We're the many and they are the few. All that needs to happen is for us to act like it. You're right. Thank you. Stand up and fight. Their game board is on our backs. We stand up, their game is over. They need us weak and stupid and docile. We wake enough people. We're not. That's what I try to remind all the time. We're not like that. But most people are. Most people are deeply asleep. A lot of them don't even want to wake up. But they're fooled. They're living in a web of deception. They're misled. Our job is to wake them. Is enough of them. We only need to reach a tipping point. We don't need everybody. Zachary says, Joe, Klobuchar, Pete, the whole gang are clearly conservatives. Joe Biden is a Republican. That's what I was saying earlier. I'd much rather talk about Joe Biden's politics than his failing mental state. But we can't ignore the failing mental state. Carol says, I just don't get how some people can say that they like Bernie's ideas, but Biden is more electable. What's up with that? The mainstream media. These people are brainwashed. They're indoctrinated. They're dumbed down, and they believe that lying-ass flickering box in their living room. Well, that little box is the only place Biden has any real support. It's manufactured support, an illusion. Now, a lot of what is happening in these primaries is rigging and fraud and massive voter suppression.
Oh, you're still not in.
Sean said FDR gave us a chance to sustain and they have torn it all down. We need a new Bill of Rights. FDR was pushing for a Bill of Rights for Americans. And most of the things that we cherish and take for granted, quite honestly, came about through FDR. FDR was a very, very popular president. They had to invent term limits because of FDR. He had 4 terms. People loved him. And most of the progress in America came during the terms of FDR. And Bernie is our FDR. But his ideas aren't radical. They're not even that far left. Zachary says conservative by definition is keeping things as they are. Sean says FDR gave us a chance to sustain and they have torn it all down. They have tried to tear every bit of it down. And that's why this is so important, and that's why this must succeed, has to succeed. We cannot fail. That cannot even enter our minds. The only thing they can do, and I think Heath said it earlier, is break our spirit and get us to quit. Phil says, let's take a look at viruses. Remember, a common cold is a virus. And we've been trying for years and years to get rid of that. But every year we get another common cold and other viruses that continue to come back. Yes, I had to summarize. I had to read. Phil's comment is very long. But he's saying that this virus may take a long time to get on top of. And Bernie Sanders is the only one from the Democratic Party who is putting things forward and aggressively handling this and speaking to the American people, acting like a leader. And you don't hear about Joe Biden because he doesn't know about this, is why he thinks. I think it's because Joe Biden can't get through a live stream without aimlessly wandering off camera or forgetting what he's talking about or getting lost. Sean says everyone needs to do everything they can to keep the revolution rolling on. It's our only chance. Everyone, I beg you to stand up to fight. And I beg you too. We are why this is going to happen. We are the reason why we've come so far. Bernie's done a fantastic job, but he couldn't have done any of it without us. And he's talking about that's what Bernie does. Acting like a president? Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. I think Bernie is right there with us. I don't think when it comes to it that we're going to look back and have to realize we're on our own. I see it happen. It doesn't make any sense to me, logically. I know there's people that keep saying it, and if you base it on Bernie's integrity and past behavior, there's evidence for it, but it's too late. It's too late for integrity. It's too late for contracts. This is life or death. This has to happen, and it has to happen now. Zachary says we need every state to start organizing progressives and liberals against pending doom. If we do not have motivation now, we're going to lose. We have to take over this system at every level, from the ground up. Deanne says President Sanders held a coronavirus roundtable just now. I know. I was there. I was watching it. And we just started. We go at 7 every day, no matter what. We're consistent, if anything else. He said he needs to start a 24-hour live stream online featuring activists to compete with the mainstream media. That is a fantastic, fantastic idea. That is a really good idea. Just like a massive online telethon. I like it. But see, that's what I'm saying. We're the creative group. We're the smart group. We're the intelligent group. We're the caring group. We can use our talents and do everything we can with them and make sure that we make this happen. By doing all that we can. Giving all that you can. If you can donate and you have money to donate to the campaign, please do. I know that times are very hard right now, so if you don't, then share truth, talk to people, do all that you can. Volunteer. You can do phone banking, internet, social media stuff. All of that's really important and crucial right now. And the texting. These are all things that can be done right now. So, socially anxious people, rejoice. It is our time to shine in this fight. But just keep doing all you can. Keep fighting. Keep pushing. And they are dying off. This is what their death looks like. We are winning. Steve says Biden was definitely on some stimulant during the debate, probably amphetamines. I wouldn't doubt it. He did seem unusually alert, But I thought at times if Bernie would have pushed him harder, he could have broke him. Because there were times that I saw the lost look in his eye, the 1,000-yard stare, multiple times during the debate. Sean said progressives are here to stay. It is why Dems are now cheating with the election fraud right out in the open. None of the exit polls match at all. Wake up, my fellow Americans. I've been pleading with everyone, no matter how you feel politically, to get active and wake up to what's going on here. This is a war. This is not an election even. This is extremely important, and this must happen. We are the only thing that's going to make it happen. This is the people rising up. Politics shouldn't even be an issue here. Everyone should be able to see that there is a power system, a power structure that lords over us. And it's all of it being used to stop one movement. So it's very clear where the fight against the powers that be is. And any political differences that we may have, I think can be settled and worked out at a later date. We can work through all of that. Jack says, so I've been trying to get a hold of the DNC office for over a month, and all circuits are currently busy, is what I've been getting from them. Does not surprise me. Zachary says, start protests, get on the news, make noise if Bernie gets denied. We need civil unrest. Oh, this goes to direct action. This fight does not stop. I don't like to talk about that but if we do not stop, we keep moving forward, this momentum must not die. We win this fight, with or without Bernie. I just don't think we're going to find ourselves in the without situation. I think that he understands. And maybe that was why he didn't want Tulsi to endorse him, if that's true. If he told Tulsi not to endorse him, because maybe he is going to end his career over this. And didn't want her to put herself on that same limb. Maybe she wasn't willing to go out on that limb. Think about that. I know people like to make theories and guesses about stuff in the negative light, but what if it was in the positive light? What if it was Bernie letting her know, I'm seeing this all the way through? Sean said, revolutions get dirty. We must engage. We must push forward at all costs. You're absolutely right. That's what happens. Direct action. And if there wasn't a damn pandemic going on right now, I would say that we need to move in that direction as soon as possible. As soon as that's even an option. But right now, you can't have a gathering of more than 10 people. But online and talking to people, phone banking, doing everything you can, donating, all of this is going to help tremendously. And all of this is why we're winning. Because millions of people are getting very active and very involved and taking ownership of our destiny. And that's what needs to happen. Connie says you lost the sound. Try leaving and coming right back in. If that doesn't work, then there's shenanigans afoot, because I don't know why the sound would have dropped out. I'm checking the settings here on my end just to make sure, but everything looks good. My audio output reading looks good. So is anybody else experiencing problems with the sound? We keep moving forward. Jack says, I wish he would tell us Nina is his VP. Maybe that was it. Maybe Tulsi asked him if she was going to get the VP slot, and he said, no, it's Nina's. It would be a good time to announce it, I think. I think that there wouldn't be a better time, really, to announce it, and then that would empower Nina, or whoever it does end up being, to start acting in that role as well. He's acting in the role of president, and, that would be good. Jack says he can hear. So Connie, maybe just exit out and come back in and see if that fixes it. But if you're here on YouTube, go ahead and Let me know what you think. And if you're here on Facebook, I want to know what you think. Slay says no. No problems with the audio. Okay, good. So YouTube's good too. We're good. Zachary says if Tulsi abandoned us over a vote spot, she can go to hell. We're done with Tulsi. We've parted ways. That is over. She showed us who she is. She ruined herself in the progressive movement. There is no more room for her on this side of the fight. This is a life or death situation. Literally. For thousands of people, it literally is a life or death situation. Nearly 70,000 people a year die from lack of quality health care and quality health insurance. So she turned her back on us in a crucial moment in our fight. And I don't forgive her for that. I'm not mad at her. Like I said, she showed us who she is. She let us know. And now, moving forward, we know that. We'll find out what her reason for doing that was, but it doesn't much matter. But thanks for watching, guys. This is the Daily Bern. We do this every day at 7, Monday through Friday, here from our Revolution War Room. So like the page. Join up the page and follow so you can catch another episode if you dug it. This is a motivational show for the political revolution, a place for all of us to gather and talk about this fight. But those of us that gather here know that this is our fight, and we must do everything to make this happen. Everything. At the end of it, leave no cards on the table, and we will win. Not Bernie, us. Sean says, please everyone, call everyone you know and ask them to fuel our revolution. Please everyone, even $1 will make a difference. Absolutely. Nothing is too small. He says thanks. Thank you. Thank all of you for everything you're doing out there and for staying active and for keeping the faith. This faith and belief that we can make this happen is another thing that's going to make it happen. You can will things into existence. Your frame of mind is very powerful. Phil says sometimes McBurning is explaining things. He takes a little too long to go through the things. He needs to be more to the point. Like me, when I'm doing a text, sometimes I need to be a little more to the point. But I guess to explain things to people, you have to elaborate a bit. As I said a while back, Bernie will make that decision of who his vice president will be. But as a rule, usually happens at the convention. Well, it's not a normal situation. You know? Jack says we welcome all of our supporters that are not backstabbers. I welcome anyone into our fight. Anyone. Anyone. You could be just waking up from a nice long slumber of blue no matter who. You are welcome with open arms. Everyone is welcome. We need everyone that we can get. And yes, Sean, together we can do it. Burners will get this done. We will make this happen. This is going to happen. And it's going to happen because of all of you guys. So thank you for everything you do out there. And thank you for all that you're doing in this fight. And thanks for watching and hanging out with me. Come back Monday for the next episode of the Daily Bern. And just keep fighting out there. Keep pushing. And we will make this happen. Not Bernie. Us. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.